Well, good afternoon, YouTube world. Our victim today, 2001 Mustang with a common problem. I know everybody up north has seen this before. Yep, that's the floor. We've got a Fred Flintstone mobile going on, so I'm going to walk you through this process. And we're going to put ourselves a new floor pan in here. Got a great floor pan here. Solid, stamped well. Says, and this is courtesy of Key Parts. Great parts. Fantastic. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves started on this. The first thing we're going to do is going to have to remove this seat brace. This is where the front of the seat will mount. We're going to start by go ahead and scrape off all this seam sealer so we can locate our spot welds. Once we get our spot welds figured out, we'll drill them. We'll make a nice cut through that brace on the tunnel. We'll remove this brace, and then that'll give us the freedom to cut the floor out. Stay tuned. This is going to get fun. Now, you can see that I've located my spot welds and I've drilled them. A little bit of a bear to find, but with sandpaper and some scraping you'll find them. Right here we've made a cut to separate the cross member so I don't have to go all the way over the floor on the other side. Another important thing to think of is here we're going to put this cross member exactly back on this panel. We don't need great big holes all the way through. We just want to lift the cross member off, and when we're done we'll plug weld all that right back up. Everything will be dandy and structurally fine. Okay, so after about an hour with the body man's best friend and my air chisel, we have eliminated the offending component. Now we've got a great big hole in the floor. Time to start cleaning this mess up, prepping our part, and we'll be back for more tomorrow. Okay, so we spent some time cleaning up the rust. We got her trimmed out pretty good. We've got a nice solid cut line. The wiring harness in the way. But we've taken all the rust out. The blankets here. Now, what we got to do now is we're going to prepare our surface. We got another brace over here. We got to get this brace cut out, and we got to get this thing out of the way. I have to cut it right along here because there's no sense in having that down there. But we got our frame rail cleaned up good. Now we're just going to clean up seam sealer, grind our surfaces, get this thing ready. And now I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Remember our floor pan. Our floor pan here. Floor pan is for 79 through 86 box body. If you remember, we're working on a 2001, and for the majority of this floor pan it's identical, with the exception we're going to do a little customizing along the front edge. We're going to do a little customizing through here. Other than that, from about here back all the way back, this pan fits perfect. So we're going to get this thing all trimmed up. We're going to get this fit. And believe it or not, we're going to have us a nice solid whole car again. We'll be back. Alright, let me cut this brace. What I've done is I've measured the distance from the pinch weld into the arch in the car, and here I've made a mark and I've given myself an overlap. So we know where we want to trim this, and we're going to take a couple inches off of here. I've already trimmed the rest. So let's cut this thing off and we're going to be ready to start prepping for welds. Okay, everything's clean. Got all that ground off. Nice and clean. Biggest rule for welding, 3 sides clean for welding. So we're going to start punching holes in our panel. Favorite tool? My hole puncher. Everybody, man's got one. So we're going to punch some holes along this thing. And get this thing ready to weld. I like to clean these surfaces after I punch my holes. This way it takes off that little bit of a burr that's still on there from punching the holes. But we're going to do that, and then we're going to get ready with my welder, get ourselves set up, and start welding. Won't be long. Okay, now make sure after you get all your holes punched on the perimeter, don't forget the frame rail. I laid the pan in there, press it down in, and I scribed out the outline of the frame rail. Now the only thing that's different here, these holes with the punch are 9/32 of an inch, which is just fine for sheet metal. Your frame rails, according to ICAR standards, have to be a 5/16 plug weld. So we're going to set these up, 5/16 drill bit on here. We're going to go ahead and drill these out, and then we're ready to start the installation procedure. Ready for the last time, we're going to do this. It would be nice to give you a couple of plugs from this wiring harness out of the way. But, and that, my friends, is not bad at all. Get a few vice grips in here and get her clamped down, and we're ready to start welding. But we've got everything setting in place. Now what we're going to do is, because it's going to be the constant line, is along the rocker, the inner rocker and floor. This is the edge we're going to weld first, because it gives us our set level for the flooring. I'm going to start down in the corner here. Don't know if you can see, but this is where we're going to start. Okay, and we are going to fill our plug welds. Plug welds with a MIG welder. The only acceptable method to the industry for welding sheet metal. Okay, so this is the part of the floor. Right inside the tunnel area here, right underneath the gas pedal, which in the way, that's a little bit different on this floor. This car is actually a little bit more narrow. So what I did was made a little relief cut here, which we'll weld up later. I got the floor down into its position. A little help of hydraulics. God bless the guy that made hydraulics. So now that we're down, you can see we're flush. Started welding the floor along the frame rail. We're going to go ahead and continue and finish welding her up. This is the only area so far of customization to make this 87 floor pan fit in a 2001. So I hope this is helping you all out. It's a great repair. I think so far we're about 5 hours into this. Good solid repair. Stick around and we'll finish this thing up. Okay, so we've got ourselves all the way around. We got everything fitting nice in here. Nice and flush. Down on the frame rail good. And this is that stress relief mark we made. You can see how the tunnel is shaped a little different. So we need to bend this around and we need to, a little hammer work. Everybody man's used to that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to weld this up now and take care of this seam. And we're going to continue moving on with our repairs. Alright, we got that stitched up nice. And we bent this down a little bit more. Now it's time to finish shaping. And if when you're welding, it don't sound like frying eggs, it ain't right. Adjust your welder. We'll be back. So now that we've got welding done all around our edges, time to come back to our old friend Mr. Crossmember. I've got it just laying in place. Go ahead and get it fit down and start welding, and soon we'll be done. Stay tuned. And we're done. Old Mr. Crossmember welded back in. Nice butt weld across the joint. Everything is plug welded like it's supposed to be all the way around. And that floor pan is solid. Underneath, frame rail welded in. Everything came in nice. All up through the tunnel. It's hard to tell, but everything is laying in there really well. Oops. Hit the zoom. You can see how the floor lays nice through the tunnel. It's, for the most part, flush. Braces are all welded back. Floor pan, I threw a few extra welds along the rocker. Never hurt nothing. And there we have it. Time. So now that we got everything welded on top and on the bottom, you'll notice all these holes. These are where all these factory plugs were in the floor. So what we've got to do is we've got to remove all these. Just from the front, we got that one, we got that one. We got to pull all these out, clean them up, put them up into this floor, and then we're ready to start seam sealing and getting this thing done. Be back in a minute. Alright, so here's the old seat bracket. Ain't a whole lot we can do with that. Bolts ripped off it. It's junk. So, it was necessary to go ahead and made a plate. Took a nice piece of steel. Use these for doing framework with. Took a nut, welded it to the underside so it's solid, similar to that. Good heavy duty. These will weld up underneath the floor. You can see I got one in place. I'm going to go ahead and fit it. I'm going to form it to these contours here. And then weld it in. And then we'll be done with all our welding. This is a lot of fun, ain't it? Right? And that's what they look like. Weld them in. Bolts through them. They're shaped up nice. Time to clean them up and seam seal. Alright, so it's time to do a little cleaning up on these welds. Love these little 3M discs. These things work fantastic. Alright, we got everything pretty clean. Now, primer doesn't stick to bare metal either. Self-etching primer. Can get this in a spray can. This is a perfect application for it. We're going to go ahead. I've already shaken this thing. And all we want is just a nice light coat. See how nice it's going to cover everything. And that's all we need. And we're going to have a nice base, rust-proofed, so that we can put seam sealer on there after it's dry. Let me finish it. Everything is sprayed nice. You can see good coat of primer. Yes, I did prime underneath all my raw metal. Now don't be going down to the hardware store getting yourself the cheapest tube of silicone you can get. This is good stuff. Get seam sealer for automotive use. It's worth the money. It's going to do what you need it to do. It's going to last for a good long time. So I'm going to crawl underneath this thing, start seam sealing. Here we go. Seam sealed. Plugs are all in. Ready for carpet. We're done. I hope this helped you all out. Wasn't too much fun. I think I got a total, I got about 9 hours in this floor. So that's how you do it. Retrofitted from an 87 to a 2001. And there we go. Seam sealed, undercoated. Isn't that beautiful? That works out so well. Alrighty, I hope this helped you all out. Don't be afraid. Have some fun.